Hello everyone. Today I'm going to be talking about 40 different PhD tools that you can use during your PhD. So these are all different apps, online tools and things that you should have be familiar with when you start working on your PhD. So let's look into these different options or different tools that we have, and I have categorized them into different stages of your PhD, so that way you will be able to kind of understand what tools are needed at what stage during your PhD. All right, so the first one is, I would suggest you to start early and plan thoroughly. Right, I have already mentioned this on many occasions that planning is very crucial in finishing your PhD on time. And one of my recent videos where I spoke about PhD in 1 year, I focused heavily on very detailed planning, because once you have detailed planning, you know what all is needed at different stages during your PhD, every month, every week, every day. So if you have a very thorough and a detailed plan, it will help you to monitor and progress your PhD very properly. So for planning, what are some of the tools that you could use? So there are many different types of project management tools that you can use to project manage your PhD, right? So for example, Trello, Asana, Microsoft Project, these are the project management tools that you can use. One of the things that you can also use is using a Gantt chart. So Gantt chart shows like the flow of the your PhD activities and how you are progressing with those. It shows like different like charts. So if you search for the name Gantt chart, you will get many different types of tools. I have got two recommendations here: Team Gantt and Gantt Project. So these two tools you can try. They'll be very helpful for you to manage. And one of the important things I would like to suggest is, before you start your PhD, take a short course on project management. Because PhD, if you handle it as a project, you will be much more successful and to complete it on time. So it is very crucial to uh, understand the value of project management and project manage your PhD. So there are many online courses available for this. So do check that out and follow them and complete them before you start. And one of the things that you can do during these projects is to apply what you are learning in the project management program. Yeah, and apply that to make a plan for your PhD before you start your PhD. So that way it will be very powerful way to be very well prepared upfront. You can also outline each chapter when you're writing your thesis, and this is where you can use some new AI tools like Jasper AI or Scrivener. It's very difficult to call this product, and they should have named it something easier. But yeah, so try these two to outline the chapter for each chapter, outline each chapter of your thesis. And if you remember, I already did a video on how you can use ChatGPT to outline different sections of your research paper. So same thing you can apply and use that to outline the thesis chapters as well. And always work with your supervisor in this, because their input is very critical in this whole program. Next thing is, while you're doing your PhD, you have to, maybe you write your research paper, you're writing a proposal, you're writing your thesis. There are certain guidelines and formatting guidelines that you need to follow. So for that, there are many tools that you can use. LaTeX is one. If you're in your doing a degree or your PhD in science field or engineering, LaTeX is the preferred tool, because you can write really beautiful equations using LaTeX, and it is very easy to kind of change the format of a paper depending upon where you want to submit it. For example, the referencing and all that is needed from one journal to the other can be easily changed using LaTeX. So try that out. Microsoft Word, of course, everyone can knows. We can use this for writing. Google Docs is an equally good option, and I prefer to use Google Docs with my students, because we can collaboratively work on the document that they are working. So if it is the research paper they're working on or their research proposal, I can always we work on the same document, so we don't do emailing to and fro to when we are working on a document. So try that. In terms of referencing, there are many tools. Zotero and EndNote is the one that I use, and Zotero is free. So do try these, but there are others as well, like Mendeley and so on. And there are many other new AI ones as well, but I haven't explored them yet. But these are pretty good and they are pretty standard. They have all the possible integrations in different browsers and so on. So it will speed up your work. Next thing is you have to engage deeply with your literature. So literature review is a critical part of your PhD program. And typically it used to take a lot of time where to do a very thorough literature review. But if you're using new AI tools that are specifically designed for speeding up your literature review, then you can have a very fast, you can finish your PhD literature review very fast. So there are tools like SciSpace, ChatGPT, Scholarcy, Resumer, Google Scholar. These are all the different tools that can help you to speed up your research, right? So especially, I have shown you many videos recently on how to use ChatGPT for doing a lot of things. Like you can upload a PDF document of a research paper into ChatGPT and ask some questions from that and get responses. But it can sometimes become tedious because if you have say 100 papers, you have to upload it 100 different times individually, or maybe in 3 or 4 in a bulk, but it is very difficult to manage and coordinate that. In that case, a SciSpace is a very better tool. I would recommend that because this gives you the option to upload multiple files in bulk, and then you can ask all different types of questions. It organizes the research into different categories, like what were the research questions, what were the main findings, their methodology, and so on and so forth. So it becomes very handy to use. If you want to use SciSpace, there is also a discount voucher that you can use. The coupon code is in the description of this video. You will get a 40% discount if you use that code. Then there is another software called as Resumer. I kind of like it. It's okay, but there are a lot of ads in this one, so it can be sometimes distracting. And one thing that you definitely do not want during your PhD or your research is to get distracted when you are trying to focus. Right. While you are doing all this, I would also suggest looking at mind mapping tools like XMind or MindMeister, because this will give you a way to kind of connect your ideas as they come, as you read through different papers, or whenever you're getting an output from SciSpace or ChatGPT, you can kind of start mapping the literature here. And the output of the literature mapping can be also added into your literature review paper. Okay, now let's talk about focus on quality of writing. So one thing that a lot of PhD students struggle is the making the argument or the writing very clear and concise. And to address that, what you need to do is you have to divide the write-up into sections, subsections, paragraphs, and sentences. Yeah, that's the basic layout, right, for any document. So if you kind of decide what is it that you want to write in each paragraph, that level of clarity is needed, because once you have that level of clarity, you can easily you can connect different topics or ideas that you want to convey paragraph by paragraph. So develop that structure and use many different tools like say Hemingway editor, Grammarly. These are pretty good because they will show you your writing mistakes, but use these ones after you have structured your writing, like what I said, section, subsection, paragraph, and sentence. So go to that level. Once you have done that, these tools can then be used to help improve what you have written. They will not help you to write. Yeah. So this can find out and give you some suggestions for improvement. Typically, a lot of readings that I see from students, there is a tendency to use passive tone when writing. Yeah. So try and identify sentences which you have written in a passive tone and convert that to active tone. Okay, so converting to an active tone, either you can do yourself and build up that skill, or you can use Grammarly or Hemingway editor or ChatGPT and put all your passive sentences and ask them to convert into active tone. And when you do it in active tone, the length of your sentence also reduces, and it also improves the readability, so people can enjoy the reading when it is in active tone. Next thing what I would like you to suggest is to have a look at this University of Manchester's phrase bank. This is a very nice resource. It is free. You can check it on their website. But if you want to buy it, like in a form of a PDF, I think it is $5 or £5 that you can get this one. But this gives you so many different phrases. These phrase bank is really powerful when you want to do high quality academic writing. So do check this out. It will give you many ideas on what types of phrases you can use to make your writing become more academic. All right. Another important thing is to proofread. Yeah, proofreading becomes very critical and useful in academic writing, especially when you're submitting it to a journal or to a conference, or maybe even if it's your thesis. Right. So there are options to use Upwork, for example, or Fiverr, or some Airtasker, or these kind of websites, or Freelancer, where you can post a request for finding somebody to proofread your work. There are other professional proofreading companies as well, and some universities also have recommended proofreaders with whom you can get your article or content proofread. But with the recent growth in ChatGPT, one option for you is to just use ChatGPT to fix your English, and it will do a pretty good job. One thing you have to be mindful is to check the policies for your universities or the journals where you're going to submit your work, and what is their say on the use of ChatGPT for proofreading of your content. So make sure do that first before using it. Maintain a consistent writing habit, and this is very crucial, because what happens in a lot of cases is you do not have the you think that, oh, you will write it later, let me first finish my research, and then you finish your research, and then you have to start to write, and then you forget a lot of things because you have not taken proper notes, or you have not written as you were working. So keep a habit of regularly writing at least 200-300 words a day. Is not that difficult. 200 words is like, if it's 15 words in a sentence, it's probably just over 10 sentences, and that should be the bare minimum a PhD scholar should be aiming to write. So if you can write 200 words a day, that is 6,000 words a month. That is equivalent to a research paper. Yeah. So build up your writing habit so that you can, so that writing does not become a boring task for you. But there are many tools that you can use. For example, Todoist is a good one, where you can plan your writing and what is it that you want to cover on that particular day. You can also break your work into manageable parts, and this could be writing, could be reading, could be researching, could be experimenting. Whatever task you want to do, you can do it this way. Pomodoro timers are a good way to manage your time, wherein you give a dedicated 25 minutes of work and then take a 5-minute break. So try that, or tomato timer, basically the same thing, or there may be many other timers that are there, but you write regularly, and you will notice the impact that you can. So don't go to sleep until you have written 200 words a day. That's keep that as a basic target, and whatever tools you need to make sure that you can do that, use them. Next thing that during your PhD you will need is to do data analysis, right? Interpretation, visualization. So depending upon your discipline and your field and your experience, there are many tools that you can use. If you know how to do programming, then Python or is a go-to language. In engineering, sometimes you also use MATLAB, because MATLAB has a vast amount of libraries that do a lot of that has already coded a lot of things, and you can just apply them for your research. A lot of things can also be done using Excel. You may not realize it, but Excel is a very powerful software. You can do a lot of visualization, a lot of analysis, a lot of calculations, all using Excel. Other two things that I would suggest is Tableau and Google Charts for visualization. And even you can also do a lot of visualization in ChatGPT itself if you have the premium version. So yeah, data analysis or data cleansing is all needed during your PhD, during when you have data which is probably not very clean, and you need to clean it up to be able to apply it, use it in Python or use it in any of the visualization tools. Okay, the next bit is managing your feedback. So there are different tools that you can use. Like I earlier said, collaborative writing is a good way to work with your supervisor. You can use Google Docs or maybe OneDrive or Microsoft Office 365 as collaborative documents that both you and your supervisor can work. Supervisors can give comments and feedback on your writing, and you can accommodate that. I prefer to use Google Docs with my students because it is just too convenient and easy to use, and all your writing remains there. There is no issue or a problem of losing your files or data, because it is all backed up, and all the previous versions of your documents are also there in Google Docs. So that is a very beneficial. Yeah, similarly, you can also check Grammarly's advanced services to give you some assistance with revisions, or help you with that process of getting revisions and feedback on your writing. Another thing you can also do is use ChatGPT. Put your writing in and ask them for some feedback. But be mindful that anything that you put in ChatGPT becomes public knowledge. So if it is sensitive information about your research, I would caution you on trying that approach. And the next thing is, you have to take care of yourself during your PhD. It is a very intensive and a stressful time. And when I say stressful, the reason for stress is not because PhD is stressful, because you do not manage your PhD properly, right? That's why I said earlier on that you have to complete a PhD, a project management course before you start your PhD. And if you do that, and if you follow the the program that you have, the plan that you have developed in your project management course for managing your PhD, you will not have stress, because you know what needs to be done and what all is required to getting that done. So if that kind of level of plan and detail and thoroughness is there, stress does not happen. Yeah, but most times I see that students do not have a proper plan. They do a plan just for the sake of a formality, that we need to have a plan in our research proposal. That's why we have created this plan, but they don't stick to it. Ideally, you should break down the plan very detailed, very thorough, and you have to get feedback from your supervisor or somebody who is experienced, maybe PhD students who are in their last year of their PhD. They can give you some really good insights that you can use. Right, but in terms of looking after yourself, there are many different tools and wellness apps, fitness tracker apps, time management apps that you can use to look after yourself. Yeah. And finally, if you're preparing for your defense, there are a few interesting tools that I have found out. One is virtual speech, which helps you to prepare a defense for your PhD defense. So if your university has the program of defending a PhD defense, then I think this will be a very useful tool. Then presentation is fairly straightforward, I guess. PowerPoint and Canva. If you use Canva, there are many nice pre-built templates that you can use through this when you're designing your PowerPoint slides or presentation slides. And the one interesting tool that I want to tell you about is called Speako. And Speako is a very interesting tool because it gives you feedback on your presentation, and it is really interesting way. So you do check that out, how Speako can help you, and also check out, there is a discount voucher coupon code in my description for this product as well. All right, so I think that is all I wanted to cover in today's session. So there are many other tools that you can use for during your PhD, but at least begin with these, and make sure that you prepare and get familiar with these tools before you start your PhD. So there is a lot of things that can be done prior to your PhD to help you cruise through the PhD journey, right? So try these different tools and make the most out of this to speed up your PhD research. All right, that's all in for today's session. Take care, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Bye.